I'll put it live. There it is. And there it is. Bingo. Great to see you guys here today. Welcome, welcome. All right, as we get rolling in, Patricia, great to see you. Love to see your comments down below. As always, we would love to know where you're watching from today. ClickFunnels is global. I think it's the coolest thing in the world. So let me know where you're watching from. But Dante here, great to be with you guys. An exciting edition of Tech Tuesdays, or Training Tuesdays, excuse me. Gang, have you ever launched a funnel? Have you ever launched a funnel full of excitement, full of anticipation, only to find out you forgot to do something before you set it to live? And maybe you're not collecting leads on an opt-in funnel, or maybe your application is not actually submitting and you're not getting people's answers or responses. Maybe even worse, like me, when I launched my first funnel, I forgot to check my product. And I forgot to actually test my funnel. And people were emailing me. I did all the work. I built the community. I talked about my thing for a long time. I built up noise, anticipation. I built up pressure. I sent people my URL. I was excited. I was ecstatic. I couldn't wait to see things start rolling in. But what started rolling in instead of sales was emails. Hey, it didn't work. Hey, I can't buy. Hey, is this even real? It was a nightmare. It felt like all the work I did led to absolutely nothing, right? So today, I'm really excited to have with us Jessie Valle, the Director of Marketing at ClickFunnels. And as we know her, the doer of all things. Jessie's got her hands in all the pots. She's built countless funnels, and she has for us an amazing checklist. So today, we're going to go over the funnel launch checklist to make sure that when we launch our funnels, they are ready to rock and roll. They're going to do the thing we expect them to do. Jessie, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thanks, Dante.
Absolutely. Always great when I get to hang out with you and see all the greatness. Today, checklist. Stoked for it. I just want to hand it over to these really compressed sessions. We try and do big things in a short amount of time. So I'm going to give it to you to take it away. Might have some questions here and there.
Of course. Thanks. Yeah. When I was thinking about what we could talk about this week, I really sat back and thought about some of the questions that I've been asked so many times. So here, oh man, goodness, it's been about 7 years ago. I started here at ClickFunnels as a funnel builder. And as the team grew, we realized that checklists were going to be our friend so that we could create these SOPs, or standard operating procedures, that allowed us to make sure that no matter who it was reviewing the funnel at the end of the day, that we didn't miss any steps and that we agreed on everything that was important. So we created this funnel builder checklist, or a funnel launch checklist, that as builders, we would go through as one final piece, even if we knew we did it because we've built so many funnels, we know it by heart, didn't matter. If we went over it step by step and made sure we clicked that box, then we knew for sure that the funnel was ready to be launched, and we would catch any silly mistakes that maybe just eluded us that day. So we created this checklist, and I've been asked about it so many times. Well, how do I know my funnel's ready to launch? So I was like, you know what? I'm finally going to do it. I'm going to write down the checklist here for you guys and share it with you and go over it so you can take the exact same checklist we've been using here at ClickFunnels for years and apply it to your own launches to make sure that you hit all the steps before you launch your funnel.
That sounds amazing. Let's do it. You ready for me to share?
I am, yeah. So I just have a simple lead funnel here. And then I pulled up the checklist here on the side so you guys can see it. It is down in the description, but you can grab a copy of this checklist here at www.clickfunnels.com/launch checklist. So go ahead and grab that, and you can download, save your own copy, and use it as well. So basically, these are all the things, like I said, that we kind of go through to make sure that we check every funnel, no matter what, and just to do that final review to make sure we didn't miss any pieces. So we start at the top. I am going to go through each one of these with you today, just so you know what it means and how we check these things before we mark them off. And like Dante said, I know we're on a time crunch, so forgive me if I speak quickly, but I want to make sure to get through it. It's some really good information, and I think it's going to help everybody, no matter what kind of funnel you're trying to launch.
Especially this first one I'm looking at, naming conventions. We have filters. We have amazing things we can do in ClickFunnels if we know what our pages are named. Come on, let's get it.
Exactly. So I am a little bit of a stickler for naming conventions. And I'm not just talking about funnels, I'm talking about the way we tag things, the way we name our workflow automations, the way we name our products. Everything to me, if we even have a whole document here at ClickFunnels. Here's a little behind the scenes glance. We have a whole document that shows the format in which we name funnels and tags and things like that, because we want to make sure that no matter who it is that's setting up a new funnel or setting up a new tag, does it in the same format and everybody is the same, and we know where to find things, and we're not taking all this time trying to search by 5 different keywords because you're not sure which one someone used. So naming conventions are super important as your team grows. Now, I know when you're on your own, maybe it's a little easier because you know what you did, but as you grow or as you work with others, naming conventions is going to be huge, not just for the funnel, but for the steps and everything in between. So I'll get off my soapbox when it comes to naming conventions, but I love me some naming conventions. The first thing I'm going to do here is come up into my funnel settings and check the name of the funnel. Now, it's not too bad. It tells me what it is. It's a 7-day workout plan, and it tells me what people are doing in the funnel. They're opting in and opt-in. So really, I try to say the what it is and what the action is. So if this were a sales page, for example, especially when it comes to tagging, maybe I would say a buyer or something like a purchase, something that an action someone is doing. One thing here, and this is a little also behind the scenes, one thing we do at ClickFunnels, because we have so many funnels at any given time, we put them into categories and we start with that as well. So people know the state of the funnel. So for example, if I were working on this and it wasn't quite done, I'd put dev, as in it's in development. I'm not ready to use it yet. It's being worked on. It's basically a draft. When we're ready to go live, we change it to live. So then you know, and again, the way that let me see if I can zoom in here so everybody can see what I'm working on.
That's actually great, Jesse.
There we go. The format isn't as important as what it says. But again, when you have naming conventions, if you select what you want and you just roll with it and you keep it that way, that's what matters. So when a funnel is live, we have it live. And eventually, if we decide we're not going to do the campaign anymore, we just turn it off. Now, I know that you can also archive funnels in ClickFunnels, but sometimes you're not ready to archive it or you want it there for a certain purpose. So by putting off, we know maybe I've redirected it, but I'm definitely not sending traffic, right? Because it's off. So in this case, if I'm ready to put it live, I would put live, but because we're still working on it, because we're reviewing it, I'm going to put dev. And again, I have opt-in in here and I have what it is. So that looks great. So that's my naming convention here. As Dante mentioned, you can add tags to funnels. Now, if you have a lot of funnels, like us, for example, we for sure put some of our funnels in test category, or not test categories, but in categories, certain categories, so we can quickly find a certain campaign if we have multiple funnels or a certain type of funnel. So that's just a personal preference, really. Okay, I'm going to turn the stats off so that disappears. Now we talk about, let me also zoom in here so you guys can see as well as we go down this list. Naming conventions for all steps as well. So what does that mean? That means when I'm glancing 7-day workout opt-in, 7-day workout thank you. At a glance, looking at this funnel, it's only 2 steps, and that's fine. I can quickly see, I'm going to turn this off so it's bigger here. I can quickly see, yeah, okay, I know one's the opt-in and I know one's the thank you. So really, I don't see any need to change it, but that's part of my checklist, is to review it and make sure that that is something that I'm okay with. Now, if it said copy of whatever page XYZWQ, like I would want to change it, because that means that I just need to adjust it, because the next time I come in or somebody else comes in, they can quickly see. This is a 2-step funnel. It's fairly simple. We have funnels that are over 20 pages, multiple funnels that are over 20 pages. So being exact in the way you name things, from the funnel itself to the actual steps, matters. So these are good. It says what it is and the action, right? So what the item is and type of
It
page.
doesn't say after opt-in. It says 7-day workout. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. Nice and to the point. And what I could do is if I know that I have acronyms in my business, let's see here. I'm going to go down to the settings here. Maybe I know in my business that we call it the 7DW, the 7-day workout.
Yep.
And so then what I would do is say, okay, well, that's the opt-in. And then I would come down to the thank you page, 3 dots, settings, and same thing. I would make sure that no matter what I did with the first, I'm going to do with all of them. So the 7-day workout, thank you. And if you're a stickler, you could make sure that things are capitalized and make it to your heart's content. But the important thing is the information, right? It's the 7-day workout, thank you. And then I've got the 7-day workout opt-in. So I know what it does. I'm not selling anything. I shouldn't expect any sales on this page, and it'll be easy to find later.
Bingo.
All right. That is the naming conventions. So next, we're going to go through links and reviewing all the buttons. All that means is that when I edit a page, I'm going to make this. Yeah, I know. I'm zoomed in too much. Let me try zooming out. There we go. I got to zoom out enough to make the page bigger. There we go. All I'm going to do here is check the button, right? I click and make sure it is submitting the form. Cool. If it had said anything else, this would be my opportunity to change that, right? And along with what the button does, we should probably test the page too. Now, I didn't actually put, Dante and I were talking about this ahead of time. I realized I didn't put testing the funnel on this checklist, maybe because it seems kind of obvious that you should probably check or test your funnel, but it goes along with that. If you're looking at what the button does, you should also test it and make sure that it does submit the way you expect it to and that it launches any automations. And basically testing your funnel at the end pulls everything we're going over right now together. So it's not just that. Let's say I preview my thank you page here. If I have any links, I would want to make sure that it's going to the right place, right? Like if I'm hovering over this, oh, I can see it's not actually going anywhere. So I would go into my page and make sure that the hyperlink text or the button is linking to the right place. So here I can say, you know what? I actually need this instead of just the hashtag. I need it to go to mail to, and then maybe I want it to go there. Okay, there. Now I updated it. Same thing with your footer policies and things like that. Check it. Make sure all your buttons and links are working. All right, next on the checklist is videos. Now, if you like to use autoplay, you would check that and make sure that you have all the settings. So I'm just going to add a video element here real quick. So basically you come in here and it's just about checking the settings. Are the settings correct? Sometimes you put a placeholder for a video to plug in later. Just check the page. Make sure you actually added the video. Make sure it's the right video. It's just a quick review of those final details. Next, we have mobile optimization. So here in ClickFunnels, it's super easy to take a look at something on desktop, and we have that little mobile phone icon up here I can click, and now I'm reviewing my page from a mobile perspective. And maybe I sit here and say, you know what, this is all right. I wish there was less space, right? So I can click, and this is the padding for the mobile version, and I can change that on mobile while maintaining the space on desktop, right? And I can do that for my sections too. Maybe it's 20 pixels top and bottom here, but on mobile, maybe I want to reduce that. So it's just a little tighter and cleaner. And so then that's what I'm going to do. I would go through everything and check, make sure it's all right. Maybe I want the font bigger on mobile. I would make those edits. It's just one quick thing. I mean, honestly, these days, I can't remember the stat. Isn't it like over 80% or something ridiculous like that?
It's like 84 or 87, something like that.
Yeah, of your traffic is on mobile. So really, mobile is even more important than desktop. But just make sure, people sometimes forget to check that mobile view. Make sure you check it, not just for one. So I'm going to save my page. I'm going to hop over to the other. Be sure to check all your pages before you launch. So I would come over here also and check the mobile view and make sure that it's exactly as I want. And note that if I have elements that are mobile only, that it matches the desktop. Or maybe sometimes if you're using a template, you have mobile items that you didn't even realize were there and you need to delete them
Yep.
because they were from the template and you didn't expect them there. This is the time to check that, right? All right. Next on the list, we're just cruising along here, is our page speed optimization. Now, there are lots of websites out there that help you test and track your pages for speed tests, right? And one of the ones we like to use is called GTmetrics.com. So I plugged in our opt-in page a few minutes ago, and I'm just checking the grade here, right? So if it's, I mean, it depends how big the page is, right? So a ginormous page will be lower than a shorter page. But if it's not an A or a B, you probably really need to look at what it is on the page that you could optimize to make the page faster. So for example, if my page wasn't doing well, I would first look at my graphics. How big is this actual graphic? I can actually grab this graphic and open it up in a new tab and see that it's bigger than I actually need it to be. So maybe I would take that graphic, make it smaller, re-upload it, and then put it in my page as the size I actually need. So that's one thing people do is...
Would that be resizing, or is that what they call compressing an image?
That's a great question. So I would resize first, and then compressing just means that maybe you make it a little less quality for things like mobile, or not mobile, for like digital. Because when you print something, like physically print a photo, you want it to be the highest quality possible.
Right.
But when it's on a website, it doesn't have to be that high quality. And so compressing is reducing that quality just a little bit, which people viewing it would never see.
Yes.
Another thing you can do is load the pictures on your site that are below what we call the fold, which is what you see immediately. Load those later. And that's called lazy loading. And ClickFunnels can do that for you. So you click on your photo, and down here in the image settings, it says lazy loading. If something is the first thing they see above the fold at the top, we want this off. But if the photo is down and people have to scroll to see it, I can actually turn lazy loading on. And what Dante was talking about there with the quality and the compression, that's kind of right here as well. I don't have to have 100% quality, especially on some of the smaller graphics, if it doesn't make a difference. Now, if I turned this way down, not sure that that's the greatest example of the picture, but if you start to see a difference and you realize that it looks terrible, don't do it that much, right? By default, we have 80 just because for the most part, I can clear and go back to 80. For the most part, that's usually a good standard, right? Is it doesn't have to be 100% to still look great on your page. But just those simple things, the size, the quality, whether you compress it, where you load it, the lazy loading, that can make a huge difference in your page speed score. So I would always check those things. If my grade on GTmetrics isn't quite what I had hoped it would be. Alrighty, moving on here. Product setup. Now, this is an opt-in funnel, so I don't have any products, but if I did, this is when I would check, is my product attached to my step? Are the right prices or variants selected of that product? And then to test a product, you test the whole funnel. So again, usually that's like the very last thing I do, but it is something we have to do to make sure everything's set up properly. Same thing here next we have workflows. Now, when people are taking a look at this, they're like, wait a minute, I thought workflows were automations. Why do I have it on there twice? Well, the truth is that in your tech stack as a business, sometimes you're going to use the internal things here in ClickFunnels, our workflows, and sometimes you might use an external thing, like maybe you're bringing in Zapier to connect to a different platform. That is the other automation setup. So if I were using something like webhooks or a connection with Zapier, I would check that automation setup as well as these internal workflows, which is right here. So I can click and see, all right, attached to this opt-in page is an opt-in workflow. Remember what I said about naming conventions? I was very clear. If the funnel is called 7-day workout plan opt-in, then the workflow is also called 7-day workout plan opt-in. So I
Yep.
know easily that they match. And then I would go through and check this. Are the tags exactly as I wanted it, right? So right now it says, hey, are you shocked? 7-day workout plan opt-in. Now, if I had named everything the 7DW, then I would expect everything to have the 7DW, right? Like what I'm doing right here with some being written out and some being the acronym, that's actually a bad form. I wouldn't do that if this were my real funnel. I would choose one and go with it.
Sure.
I just wanted to show you guys an example, right? And the next thing, just checking all the steps. Are my delays correct? Is the email exactly what I wanted? You just check all the details. And then at the end, guess what? You're going to test. Is it turned on? I can't tell you how many times I forget to turn on a trigger or I forget to turn on the workflow itself. And I'm like, why is it not working? Well, you got to turn it on.
Yep.
That's a pro tip right there. Turn it on. But I will say also, when I talked about the dev or the live or the off for funnels, I do the same thing for workflows. So technically, I should put whether it's still in development or whether it is live here on the name as well.
Perfect.
Yeah. All righty. Cruising along here. We talked about other automation steps. So next is page SEO and indexing. So what this means is I need to check the pages in my funnel. Do I want any of them to show up in search engines? If someone searches a 7-day workout plan, what pages of mine do I want to show up? Well, I probably want the opt-in to show up. And I've heard Dante talk about this before. You want to have the pages where you take action be the ones that you put in SEO. And the other ones with information like a thank you page, you do not index those. You do not want someone to go into Google and type 7-day workout plan and get it without opting in.
Yeah, that's what indexing means, right? If somebody goes to Google and they type in, I need a 7-day workout plan, and Google ranks us up there, that's us indexing in a search engine, right?
Yep. So to do that, what I would do is it's per page. So I would go to my page, the 3 dots to find my settings, and I go to my settings. And down here, I see SEO title. Now, this isn't a great SEO title for the page. And SEO description, there's nothing. I would want to adjust those if I were going to turn it on in a search engine. And if I turned it on in a search engine, I'd want, what is the image that's going to be shared? Even if I don't turn it on, if I ever share this link in, say, Facebook, an image is going to pop up. And so having an image here, a sharing image, is important because then it will give anybody who shares that link or views that link an idea of what it is before they land here. So if I were to turn this on, if it were a real funnel, I would probably use, honestly, I use AI. And we have AI here in ClickFunnels. So what I would do is could even come in here to edit this first page. It knows the copy, right? So if I click into one of these text boxes, I see that little AI button. I can just click it and I would ask Napoleon here, our bot, help me write an SEO meta title and description. Did I spell that right? For this page. And then I know I have some placeholder text, but it tells me unlock your transformation with ClickFunnels, elevate your business today. Well, it's apparently talking about ClickFunnels versus versus the workout plan. But if I had all the copy on the page, it would know that. And I can take that, go plug that in our settings, and I'd be ready to go.
Yep.
All right, back to our funnel here. Sorry, what was that, Dante?
That's really smart. It's a great way to use Napoleon.
Oh yeah, for sure. If I can have that little bit of help from a bot who's analyzed a lot more things than me, then I will use it. I'll take the help. Next are our page paths. So then I would go through and take a look at my page paths. If I had copied the page, it probably has a whole bunch of extra letters and numbers and doesn't make sense. If this page said slash, I don't know, food prep. Well, that has nothing, I mean, yeah, it's a health thing, but that's not the workout. So I would come in again to my settings and I would change this page path to make sure it matches what it is on the page. So in this case, it's workout. That makes sense. And down here on the thank you, 7-day workout, thank you. That makes sense as well. So I would leave it. And then I also check the funnel. So I'm going to go to my settings and it is the 7-day workout plan opt-in, right? So again, I make sure if this makes sense. Maybe if I'm going to share this link, maybe I don't want the word opt-in in there. So here's where I would change that and say, you know what? I just wanted to say 7-day workout plan. And maybe I want to get rid of the dashes because I want to make it super easy. This is the place where you change that, right? You got to check all of your links before you move on and launch your funnel, right? So we check everything.
When you say you want the page paths to make sense, you mean make sense to the customer, right?
Yes.
Because the customer sees those page paths.
Exactly.
So that's why Jesse took opt-in out of that main URL. So customers don't want to see opt-in. They don't want to see the marketing terminology.
Exactly. And that does also remind me the importance of SEO. If nothing else, like a thank you page, maybe I'm not going to share it, but in the settings, I want to make sure I change the SEO title because when I preview the page, you can see up here, maybe tiny, whatever I put here is in the tab at the top.
Yep.
So even if you don't share it or index it, you have to make sure to put something in the SEO title because it does show up and our customers can see that.
Great.
Yeah. So that's another reason it's important to have it on the checklist. Alrighty, next is tracking. So if you are going to run ads or you have any sort of tracking, there's so many out there from the Google Tag Managers to the Facebook ad tracking to things like Clarity for heat maps. Whatever it is, you just want to check and make sure you have your tracking set up. At a funnel level, if I go into the settings, that's what my header and footer code is. I can paste code, my tracking codes here, and it will apply it to every step in this funnel. So I have the option of going here and adding something to every step, or I can go into a page and edit the page. And I'm going to go to the show code here, and I have my header and footer codes where I can also paste something that would just live on this one page. So I have the option. Do I want it to be on every page? I set it at the funnel level. Or if I want it to be on page specifics, then I would put it at the page level. Alrighty, next step is to add a domain, right? Let me move this a little bit there. Okay, so domain. I can head into my settings, and if I have multiple domains, I can see them here. I already have a custom domain, but maybe I wanted a different one. So I can change that. And if I want to add a brand new one, I have a link right here where I can go into my domain settings and get a new domain. It's just something to check just because when you have a custom domain, it helps you look the most professional that you can look, right? So I'm going to go ahead and update the funnel here. And then it went ahead and changed the link here.
So it changed the domain, but none of the paths.
Exactly. So my paths stay the
building
same.
the funnel, you're setting up paths, you're testing automations, you're doing all that first. And then when you're ready, throwing a domain on is simple at the end. I get that.
Exactly. Yeah. And some people start with that, and that's fine. But that's what the checklist is for, is at some point, we just want to check and make sure that we added it.
Yep.
All right. The very last two things, add to campaign, schedule, spreadsheet, which was like, why do I have it twice? Well, because I have campaign specific and all campaigns. And this is just part of our organization system. So not only do we have spreadsheets, and I have an example here to kind of show you, we have campaign specific sheets for launches, right? We want to know when I'm doing a launch, is there a live event? What are the details? What's the core offer? What is the link to that core offer? What does the schedule look like? If I'm running paid ads, how are they performing? Funnel stats throughout the promotion. What kind of registrations and sales and revenue am I seeing on a daily basis? Links and resources is huge. This is where I would come in and I would grab the link of everything. I would grab a link to the funnel. So I'd head back to the funnel, Like, I'm talking about the editor link. I'm not even talking about the link people see. I just want to know if I come to this launch calendar that I can hop in here real quick and I have a link directly to the editor and I don't have to go hunt it down.
Mm.
And then I would grab what's the link to the actual funnel or each individual page. I would copy and write down each individual page, every single link. I would link to every copy document I have, every video I have, and where it's hosted, and the link to edit it, and the final link. I put literally any link I can think of related to this, from design files to presentation links to emails to an FAQ sheet. It doesn't matter. I put every link I can possibly think of right here so that I can come back later and I don't have to hunt for anything. It's all in one spot. Then we have live stats. If I'm running a live event, well, then I'm going to say, hey, at this time, I had this many people on Zoom and this many people on Facebook, and I can go ahead and take a look and see all my stats in one place. And the last tab is important because it says questions. And what this means is sometimes we have meetings about campaigns, right? But I don't want to forget my questions. And so by putting all of my questions right here in this launch calendar sheet, I know I'm not going to lose them. It's kind of like adding something to your grocery list. You're like, I'll remember. You don't. You get home and you realize you forgot the milk because you didn't put it on the list. So this is my way of saying, okay, if I think of something and I have a question, anybody can put those there. And then the next time the group meets, we can tackle them all together and hash them out. So this is a campaign specific sheet. We also have another one that's more of a basic, just a list of all the campaigns we've ran, and we can link to these spreadsheets. So it's almost like a repository of all these individual campaigns in one place. So that's kind of how we work here at ClickFunnels, just because we have so much going on, to know that there's very few places that you have to go to get all the information you need. It's super handy and it helps everybody sleep at night. All right. And after that, it's as simple as testing your funnel, right? So whether you're previewing or you're opening the real link, I would come in here and put in my email address. If it's a purchase, I would make the purchase. Okay, it's submitting. It sent me to the right page. Great. I'm on the thank you page. Then I would go in to my contacts. Well, I've probably used that email before, but if I went into my customers here, I can search for that email address, find the person, can hop in here and say, all right, well, what's their activity? Okay, I can see what they did. Now, the activity may be a few minutes behind sometimes, but you know what's not? If I refresh here, I'll be able to see, did I get any tags added? Am I added to the right workflows? Currently, it doesn't look like I was. So if that's the case, then I'm over here like, well, what did I do wrong? Checking the orders.
This is actually a great example.
Yeah. I'm over here like, well, what did I do wrong? I opted in.
We probably just mistyped the email, I would have to imagine, when we submitted it on the funnel.
I might have done that.
But let's see, Jesse. This is awesome.
Are you?
Let's go check the activity one more time really quick.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing is let me see here. Hop into my funnel. And see, it just hasn't quite updated yet. But I'm going to check this. Did I check the triggers? Did I make sure they were right? Okay, when someone opts in on that page is when this is triggered. Ooh, I do see one was here. So when I click, yeah, that's not me. That was another test. So then I'm sitting here like, well, what did I do wrong?
It makes me think the button is not set to submit, or we just mistyped the email, right? What else could it be? A simple opt-in?
Yeah, for sure. So that's when I would probably test again, or maybe just wait a few minutes. Maybe I have something else going on in my account that's backing it up a few minutes. But yeah, you would test and make sure that everything's right. And if I went through this all again and found a bug, well, then I would just reach out to support, right? I would just go back and hit that little chat button right here and ask for help. And then our team can look at your specific account and see what's going on.
Yep.
So, All right, great. So that's that. Again, we have the checklist for you guys in the description, clickfunnels.com/launch checklist.
Yep.
And that is where you can go. Dante, I don't know if we got any questions along the way.
I didn't see any questions. You guys know the drill for these Tech Tuesdays. If you have questions along the way, feel free to show us. I've just seen a lot of great stuff. We're the best, and thank you. So we're not the best. We appreciate you guys and your kind words for sure. Great checklist. Great session. That was awesome, Jesse. I learned a ton.
Yeah.
And go run your funnels through those checklists. And then we're paying so much attention to our Facebook and our other internal communities. If you find anything that like, oh man, I just noticed I didn't do this, I didn't have that, this wouldn't have worked, let us know in the communities. Let's see what roadblocks we avoided. Let's see the problems we didn't have to encounter. That's always a lot of fun too.
Yeah,
Jesse,
I'm curious if there's anything on the list that surprised you or you're like, man, I didn't think to check that. Let us know. And if you have ideas for future episodes that you want us to go over in this Training Tuesdays, let us know. Drop them in the comments and we'll come back and add that to the list.
100%. This is built by funnel hackers for funnel hackers. We would love to build things for you to help you today where you're at. Jesse, this was great. Hopefully we get to do another one soon.
For sure. Thanks, Dante.
See you guys. Have an
Bye,
amazing rest of your day.
everyone.